Hello, friends out there in Facebook world. How are you doing on this crazy rainy Friday? My God, it's nuts out there. So I'm staying warm and dry inside, and I wanted to come on and talk about one of the habits that I have found is really key in staying on track. If you have any kind of health goal that pertains to eating a certain way in order to reach your goals, then your success is all going to come down to individual habits, tiny little habits that you create and sustain day in and day out that overall lead you to success. And one of the things that I have found is so important is thinking about at the beginning of the day, where are you going to be when it's time to eat today? Because if you just wing it and just kind of go where the day takes you and then try to figure out a plan when you find that you're hungry, guaranteed it's going to end up in a disaster, and guaranteed you're going to end up with some kind of takeout or drive-through, or getting to the point that you're so hungry that your body feels like there's an emergency and you're just reaching for the quickest thing you can get your hands on and stuffing it in your face to get your blood sugar up, and then feeling terrible because it was not the kind of fuel that you really wanted. And chances are, if you get too hungry, then your blood sugar drops. You feel, that kind of shaky, awful feeling. Personally, I hate getting to that place. And so then you eat what you can to remedy that feeling. And now your blood sugar is really high. And now you kind of have that crash because now you've had too much food, probably the wrong food. Now you have to take a nap. And now you're feeling this kind of remorse that you didn't follow the plan that you really wanted to follow, and that is going to lead to success. So one simple question in the morning: where am I going to be today when it's time to eat, and what do I need to do to stay prepared? And if you do that, you will avoid all of that nonsense. So I wanted to share two examples that, it doesn't take a lot of time. I'm not saying you have to plan these complicated meals or that you have to have any kind of sophisticated strategy at all. Really just some simple planning and simple grab and go options can help you stay on track. So this week I had two situations that made me think of this concept. So the first was I had a hair appointment from 1 to 3 on Wednesday. 1 o'clock is normally when I eat lunch. Maybe if I had a late snack in the morning, I push it to 2. But if I had not thought about this and I had gone to this hair appointment and then finished up at 3, I can predict with 100% accuracy how that would have gone. I would have been starving. I would have felt terrible and shaky. I would have gone next door into Ocean State Job Lot, found some kind of snack that was not what I normally would have had for lunch. Probably it would have been some kind of chocolate-covered something, and eaten that way more than I needed because I was just, having that blood sugar emergency. And then I would have been really mad. I would have come home with lovely colored hair, but really mad that I went off plan and kind of led myself astray. In the old days, so years and years ago, that one little oops might have also led me to go off track for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a week maybe, because I would have been so discouraged that I couldn't follow the plan that I set out to follow. I don't do that anymore because I now have learned that one meal is just one meal, and even if it doesn't go as planned, all you need to do is reset as quickly as you can. At the very next meal, 3 hours later, you can be back on track, eat the right kind of meal, put the whole thing behind you, and you're still on track. And that one meal in the long run is not going to ruin your plans, or your goals. But for many people, that one can be a problem. That one oops can be a problem because it sets off a spiral for many meals, many days, maybe even many weeks of feeling off track, and not just feeling, but really going off track. So what did I do? I knew I had this hair appointment. It was going to be smack in the middle of lunchtime. So I packed up. I had made this really awesome chopped salad the night before, and I had a lot left over. So I put that in a Tupperware, threw in some chicken, grabbed a seltzer, and packed it with me, and showed up at my hair appointment with my little lunch bag. And while I sat there in the chair waiting for my hair to be colored, I sat in the back room and had my lunch. And I left feeling great. I was fueled. I didn't get shaky. I didn't go off track. I got my hair colored, and my day went on, and no big deal. And that could have very easily gone a different way, and because I had just planned that little bit. And how long did that take me? All of maybe 2 minutes to go in the fridge, grab the salad, grab the chicken, throw it in a container, and bring it with me. It didn't take long at all, but it really was a game changer. So that was example number 1. Example number 2 was yesterday, where I had some plans to meet up with friends in Boston for a late lunch, kind of a strange time, a 2 o'clock lunch, which just worked out that way because it was the only time that we could get there. 2 o'clock is a really an odd time for lunch. And I know myself, I'm really regimented and I try to eat at the same time every day. And I knew that that was going to be a little funky for me. And so before I left, I kept the morning, as usual, breakfast early at like 5:30 or 6, morning snack at 9. But before I left, I made a half a sandwich with a whole bunch of turkey and 1 piece of Ezekiel bread. And I tried to load up on my protein, so I stabilized my blood sugar. And that way, when I got to lunch, and if you think about it, by the time you get there, by the time you order, by the time any food is coming, it was really probably closer to even 3. I would have been a mess had I not done that, had I not planned ahead and thought, where am I going to be when it's time to eat? That would have been a problem. And chances are, if this was years ago and I hadn't thought about this, the bread basket would come on the table and I would be eating all of this bread, even though I knew I didn't want to and it's not exactly what's on my plan. But I would have, because I would have been in a food and hunger emergency. And, we just kind of lose all control at that point. And so that didn't happen. So my blood sugar was stabilized, my hunger was stabilized. I was able to make a choice that was, delicious, something that I wanted, but also on plan. And I actually found I didn't eat a ton of it because I wasn't totally hungry, but that was fine. I kind of wish I brought it home. I didn't, but it was fine. I had some of it and I came home and I felt totally on track and had a wonderful time with my friends, and I was able to focus on the time I spent with these people rather than letting the food part of it take over. I mean, the food was yummy and beautiful, and I posted some pictures last night, but it didn't turn into a food disaster, which would have really stayed with me and kind of dominated some of my thoughts and diminished my ability to focus on the wonderful time I had meeting up with friends. So these 2 examples, they're really powerful. So that's, so those weren't consecutive days. Yeah, they were. That was Wednesday and that was Thursday. Two days that could have gone astray, but didn't. And now here I am. It's a new day and I'm still on track and feeling great. So I want to encourage you to think about that and to create the habit of asking yourself this question in the morning. Where am I going to be when it's time to eat? And what do I need to do to be prepared? It might be eat something before you go. It might be bring something with you. It might be strategizing, okay, what's near me? If I don't have anything I can bring, what can I get on the way, or what's going to be near me that's going to be a good option? Because when you try to make a decision, when you're in that food emergency situation and you're trying to make a decision, it's most often not going to be the same decision that you make when you're thinking about it in advance, when you're not in a hunger emergency. So that one simple little switch of just making the decision in advance and knowing, okay, on my way, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to pick up this. It's going to help increase the chance that you stay on track and not create any kind of food drama for the day. So I hope this helps. I really, really encourage you to ask yourself that question, think about it, make it a habit. Would love to hear from you what has worked for you in the past. And in the future, if you use this strategy, tell me how it goes and what's working for you. Would always love to hear about it. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Stay dry. Bye.